Hello everyone, myself Purushotham, working as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, MLR. So in this session, I am going to discuss about inheritance concept. So coming to overview of this session, so first I will discuss inheritance, what is an inheritance and the types of inheritances. Okay, so let's get started today's session. Now coming to what is an inheritance. So acquiring the properties from the one class to another class is called inheritance, or producing a new class from already existing class is called inheritance, or deriving a new class from existing class also inheritance. Okay, we can define inheritance in different ways. So inheritance means acquiring the properties from the parent class to child class is nothing but inheritance. Okay, so here the main use of inheritance is what? Reusability. So reusability of code is the main advantage of using inheritance. Okay, so the main intention of using inheritance is what? The code reusability. So inheritance mainly talks about the code reusability. Inheritance mainly talks about the code reusability. So in Java, inheritance can be achieved by using extends keyword. Okay, so how can we achieve inheritance in Java means? So compulsory we need to use extends keyword. Okay, so by using extends keyword, you can make two classes in parent and child relation. Okay, so here as I mentioned, inheritance mainly talks about the code reusability. So how it talks about the code reusability means? So suppose if you take an example, like, so suppose here I have a class, now the class is a parent. Now class is a parent class. Now this parent class is having, assume it is having some 1000 lines of code, and I have one more class. Now the class name is a child. Okay, now these two are the two individual classes. Now I want to establish the parent and child relation here. So to establish the parent and child relation, we need to use extends keyword. So extends a parent. Now this one becomes a parent class and this one becomes what? The child class. So how it becomes a parent and child relation? Because of this extends keyword. Okay, now the child, this class becomes a child class and this class becomes a parent class. Okay, now here a child class can access the parent class properties. Okay, now the parent class is having some 1000 lines of code. Okay, so this entire 1000 lines of code the child can access without creating any object. Okay, that is the main advantage of using what? Inheritance means the reusability, code reusability. Here this code is already written in the parent class, so no need to write this code again and again. So simply if the two classes are in the parent and child relation, so this entire means this 10,000 lines of code easily you can access inside a child class without creating any object. Okay, so how it is a possible means? Because of inheritance concept. Okay, so that is the reason inheritance mainly talks about the code reusability. Okay, so how can we achieve inheritance concept means? By using extends keyword we can achieve the inheritance concept. Okay, so using extends you can make the two classes in the parent and child relation. Now, so inheritance also known as is a relationship. Okay, so there are two types of relations. One is a is a relation and a has a relation. Means is a relation means inheritance also called what? Is a relation. Is a relation means the two classes are belongs to same hierarchy or same family. So has a relation means, so suppose if you want to access any class property, you need to create an object. Okay, so if you are creating object in any class and that class becomes, and the two classes are in a has a relation, but if you are using inheritance concept, so the two classes are in is a relation, means inheritance also called what? Is a relationship. So inheritance, one class is giving the properties and behaviors and another class is taking properties and behavior. Okay, so suppose if you take an example, here I have parent class and a child class. Now the parent class is giving the properties and the child class are acquiring the properties. Okay, so how the child class is acquiring the properties means, since these two classes are in the parent and child relation. Okay, so here in general in inheritance, in general we may get, the child may get the some properties. Okay, so parent color property may get, and behaviors, next height, next weight, sometimes weight. So these are the natural properties, genes also will get, means these are the natural properties always child will get from the parent, and natural properties and some artificial properties also, child will get from the parent. So artificial properties means parent may have land, okay, the land will get child class, and parent may have some money also will get, and parent may have some gold, okay, that gold also will get in general. So some natural properties will get, the natural properties like color, behavior, height and height will get, and artificial properties like land, money and gold will get from a parent class, okay. So here the parent class always giving the properties and the child class always acquiring the property, okay. So here the parent class also called base class, sometimes the parent class also called base class, and sometimes the parent class also called super class. Parent class and base class and super class are all same, okay. And child class sometimes also called derived class and also called a subclass. So child class, derived class and subclass all are same, okay. So these are the terminologies in inheritance. So if you take an example, so suppose here I have a class, now the class is a P, okay. So here the class name is a P, and here I have one more class, now the class name is a C. Now I want to establish the parent and child relation here. Here I mentioned extends keyword. Now C becomes a child class, and P becomes a parent class. Now the child class is having M2 method and the parent class is having M1 method, okay. Now here if you want to access the parent class properties, okay, so just by creating object of the child class you can access the parent class properties as well, okay. So here I created object of the child class, and the child class actually is having only M2, but indirectly child is also having what, M1 method. So the child can access both M2 method as well as M1 method. So here I am accessing M1 method and as well as I am accessing M2 method. So how it is a possible means, because these two classes are in the parent and child relation, okay. So how you are making the parent and child relation means, so by using this extends keyword, okay. As I mentioned, using extends keyword you can achieve inheritance in Java, okay. So if you execute this program, you will get the output like it will print the parent class M1 method and you are calling M2 method here. So child class M2 method it will print, okay. So suppose if you take an example, you can see. So here I will take a class, the class name is a P, and I will take one more class. Now the class name is a C. Now these two classes are now in the two individual classes. Now I want to establish the parent and child relation. So compulsory we need to use extends keyword and you need to use a P. So now the C becomes a child class and P becomes a parent class. Now suppose the P is having one method, assume. So here I will take M1 method. So parent class M1. And so this one is a child class. So child class M2, okay. So here if you want to access the parent class property, so here I will create object of the child class, okay. Now here I am creating object of the child class. You can access the child class properties like you can access M2. So M2 already is there in child class itself, you can access. Also you can access M1. You can also access M1. Now you can see, you can access, first you are accessing M2, child class M2 method is you are printing, and you are accessing M1 means the parent class M1 is calling. But if you are creating object to the parent, you will access only M1 but not M2, means vice versa is not possible. So here I will create object to parent, P equals to new parent. Now you can access only the parent class properties. Okay, so by creating object of the parent class, you cannot access the child class members. You can access only the parent class. You can see M1 you can access, but if you are trying to access M2, here it will throw error. So it is not possible, means vice versa is not possible. You can see, so cannot find a symbol. There is no M2. There is no M2 in the current class P, so it will throw error. Okay, so here by creating object of the child class, you can access both child class properties as well as the parent class properties. Okay, but by creating object of the parent class, you can access only the parent class information but not child class info. Okay, so the types of inheritances. Okay, so these are the types of inheritances in Java: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance, and last multiple inheritance. Okay, so now we'll see the types of inheritances one by one. The first one is a single inheritance. So single inheritance means, as name suggests, a single inheritance means deriving a class from the single parent class. Okay, so suppose if you take an example, here I am deriving only one single class from a single parent. Okay, so this means a single inheritance. Okay, so suppose here I will take a class, now the class A, and I will take one more class, now the class B extends A. Now here you are deriving only one child class from the one parent class. Okay, so this concept is called a single inheritance. So A serve as a base class and B serve as a derived class. As I mentioned, this one becomes a parent class, this one becomes a parent class, and this one becomes a child class. So next one, the multi-level inheritance. The multi-level inheritance means here the multiple levels. Okay, multi-level inheritance talks about the multiple levels. So suppose if I take an example, you can see here. So deriving a child from the parent class. So here I am deriving a B class from the A class. Okay, and again I want to derive one more class from the B here. Okay, so if you apply inheritance concepts, so see here, this one is a level 1. And this one is a level 2. Okay, so multiple levels. So that's why it is called the multi-level. Likewise, you can create any number of classes like this. So this one becomes level 3, and this one becomes level 4. Means, so this type of inheritance is called what? The multi-level inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance means one class serve as a parent class, the remaining classes act as a child classes. Means deriving multiple child classes from a single parent class is nothing but hierarchical inheritance. So see here. So here I am deriving the multiple child classes B, C, and D from only one single parent class. So this concept is called what? Hierarchical inheritance. Means suppose I have a class. The class name is A. Now if you want to create a child class, extends A. Okay, now I am deriving one more child class C, extends A. Now you can see here, so for B and C, A is acting as a parent here, means B is deriving from A and C also deriving from A. Okay, so this concept is called hierarchical inheritance. Next, hybrid inheritance. So combination of any two inheritances are called hybrid inheritance. Okay, so if you take an example here, so here, so this part is talks about the hierarchical inheritance, and this part is talks about multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means the combination of the two inheritances is nothing but the hybrid inheritance. And so with respect to classes, hybrid inheritance is not possible in Java. So why means, so here the multiple inheritance concept is there. So as we know that the multiple inheritance concept is not possible with respect to Java classes. Okay, but using interfaces you can achieve the multiple inheritance. Okay, but hybrid inheritance concept is not possible. Okay, suppose if you are using multiple inheritance in the hybrid, so it is not possible. Hybrid inheritance. So multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means, so deriving a single child from the multiple parent classes. Okay, so here deriving one single child from the multiple parent classes. So this is a parent 1, and this is a parent 2. And if you want to take the parent 3 and if you want to take the parent 4 also, you can take. So as I mentioned, as per the definition of the multiple inheritance, so deriving a one single child class from the multiple parent classes is nothing but what? The multiple inheritance. And so as I mentioned, the multiple inheritance concept is not possible with respect to Java classes, and with respect to interfaces we can achieve the multiple inheritances. So why multiple inheritance is not possible with respect to what Java classes means? Due to the ambiguity problem. Okay, so suppose assume here I have M1 method and here also M1 method. So assume here I am just by creating object to the child class, you can access the parent class properties. So here I am creating object to the child class and here I am trying to call M1 method. Now here the M1 method. So which M1 method should call here? So A class also having the M1 method, exactly same M1 method also available in the B class. Okay. So if you are calling M1 method, so which method has to be executed? So here it leads ambiguity problem. So here with respect to Java classes, so this one is not possible, means multiple inheritance is not possible. So Java doesn't support the multiple inheritance concept with respect to classes. And so coming to the object class. So every class in Java programming is derived from object class, means object class is a supermost class, means every class directly or indirectly derived from object class only. So object is a class, so O must be capital here, so which is defined inside a java.lang package. So java.lang package, and it is a default package. And so as I mentioned, object class is a supermost class in Java, means every class directly or indirectly derived from object class only. So the base class for all Java classes is nothing but what? Object class only. Okay. So the object class is defined in default package is called the java.lang package. So suppose if you take an example, as I mentioned, every class directly or indirectly derived from object class only. So suppose if you take an example, here I am taking one class, the class test. Okay. If you are writing the class test here internally, it is extending from object only. See here, so suppose if you are not extending any other class, like suppose if you are extending class A, okay, now it is not directly derived from object class. Suppose if you are not using extends keyword, now here you are extending from object class only. So if you are not adding this line, so automatically it will add the line. Okay, so means this test class, now it is derived from object class only. Okay, so suppose if you take an example like class A, and I will take class B extends A. Now if you observe here, now A class is directly derived from object class. Okay, and the B class is indirectly derived from object class. Why? Means B is a child class to the A and A is a child class to the object class here. Okay, so as I mentioned, every class in Java directly or indirectly derived from object class only. Okay, so coming to the summary, in this session we have covered inheritance definition and the types of inheritances and object class. Okay, so that's about this session. So thank you.